Welcome to the Horse Talk Show. Have you ever seen a horse who could talk? With your host, Louisa Barton, who really wants to be a famous rider. She really loves to ride fast. Presented by Peterson & Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care.
Truth is, I have horses with people problems.
Now here's the Brit on the bit, Louisa Barton. Enjoy the show.
Larsen Farms is our TV broadcast sponsor. Mr. Richard Larsen, a man of great integrity, cares about every single bale of hay and about taking care of his customers. He also has a huge heart for those genuinely in need. Larsen Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital. Welcome to the Horse Talk Show presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larsen Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Louisa Barton here in the CEP Studios in downtown Ocala with Dancing Pete Roeder. Thank you for joining us this week. We have a phenomenal lineup for the show.
Phenomenal.
We do. We have Dr. Cayot, and he's going to be chatting a little bit about teeth. And we have Tommy Turner, episode 2. Tommy the Fence.
Fence.
Fence Turner.
Tommy the Fence Turner.
We have Dr. Judy Downer in the studio with us, and I know a lot of you know Dr. Downer very well from her CF days. She has a pretty phenomenal resume and some great future happenings that she's going to share with us. And also she's going to talk to us a little bit about a very scientific look at horses in sports and the KER research team that are going to be here in February to do a wonderful seminar that you definitely need to be involved in. We have a Larsen Hay Customer Appreciation Day recap for you, where we're going to share some 2 wonderful days at Larsen Hay with some phenomenal visitors and 4 little children that were exceptional. So we're going to share all of that with you. And then we're going to wrap it up with Pete's horsemanship tip of the week, which he's still thinking about right now because he had a little problem this afternoon that Pat Myers from Pat Myers Electric had to...
He's coming out to save my trailer because I have no electricity right now.
Come to the rescue. So about a week ago, I think it was about a week ago, we had this ghastly storm coming that was going to have some nasty winds and supposedly some hail and things flying. And I had my brand new trailer, horse trailer that I just got from National Trailer Source, and I really didn't want it getting like smacked around. So I put a tarp over it. Well, my Mustang, who's recently back home at the farm with me, decided that the tarp was a monster. So we did some tarp work. And now the tarp's not going to eat him anymore, and I wanted to share that with you because I was just very proud of him today as he was wearing the tarp. And he actually, I don't think I have a video of it, but he did actually walk across it several times and back across it several times, and we did a lot of things. We played with it, he chewed it, he tossed it around a little bit, and we're not really worried about the tarp anymore. So I thought I'd just share with you how wonderful these Bureau of Land Management Mustangs really are. And given a little time and patience, they actually can turn into some of the best horses. And we had fun with the tarp. So anyway, we're over that little monster, which was kind of good. And I just wanted to share that with you. So I've never seen Pete.
Oh gosh, here we go.
He got excited and Louisa got to see it.
I've actually never seen Dancing Pete Roeder blush and gush.
Blushing. Oh, great. Now it really looks bad.
No, listen. Seriously.
That was an honor.
It was an honor. I want to thank Nathan Greiner very much for helping us have an opportunity to meet the one and only Buck Brannaman, who is quite the gentleman.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And when he walks in a room, there's a kind of a calm that walks in the room with him.
Louisa was quiet also, so let's put that in there.
Yes, let's put things in perspective. He was gushing and blushing, and I was calm and quiet. But Buck Brannaman is quite an incredible horseman. He's probably one of the finest horsemen in the world, and he's traveled the world. I actually forgot to ask him about England. He's been to England several times as well. He was here at the Florida Horse Park, thanks to Jason Reynolds and the team at the Florida Horse Park for making this happen. But he actually did a clinic this past weekend, very well attended both by auditors who were watching in the audience as well as participants. And we actually had a chance to chat to him for about 25 minutes or so after this was all over, and all of his fans had crowded up and chatted to him, and he actually had to rush off to dinner at World Equestrian Center with the finest show jumper that the USA's ever produced.
Yeah, he didn't know you knew Aaron.
I didn't know I knew Aaron Vale.
And then we found out Aaron had learned to ride with Buck.
Yeah.
When he was a kid.
Yeah, and actually Buck, I wish I had this on camera. Maybe we do. Isaac will tell us if we do. But actually he said that in another life, Aaron Vale would have been a fine cowboy.
Yes.
And he talked about the connotation that is associated with the word cowboy. And you'll hear that in the interview. But he actually shared that a cowboy is a fine gentleman who knows how to treat his livestock, not necessarily what we picture of a cowboy when we think of that word. And that was really interesting. That was one of the most interesting things he said. But he shared a lot of really heartfelt feelings and thoughts that he has.
And
but
we didn't just give him basic questions. We put it out
we
there.
we threw them at him for sure. And he was, it was neat because when he answered a question, you saw him ponder for a second before he answered. And that's how he is with the horses. Everything is kind of very slow, well thought out, well thought over, and you could see that in the ring at the clinic when he was working with the people. At one point you thought, well, when's something going to happen? But something wasn't supposed to happen. This was calming the horses down, giving them a good experience. But then when the clapping started, which I thought was very interesting, he had the horses all line up to experience the clapping. And you don't very often at home, working with your horse, have a chance to have a bunch of people clapping. But you don't think about it. Well, you do.
I'm joking.
But it's interesting when you think about that, because the clapping noise that if you're in a rodeo or you're in a barrel race, you're in any competition, you're in a big jumping competition, there's audience that are probably going to clap and cheer, and some of them might even make some whooping sounds, and your horse doesn't hear that every day. So it was really neat to see him line everybody up, but he got them totally calm.
Well, and then the next day they got closer. And then the ones that were having major trouble got even closer, and he said, get off, and he held one, and it was really...
It's really neat to see that.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was a really, really great experience. So Buck will be on the show in the next couple of weeks, so we'll let you know when, and it'll be a little exclusive.
Maybe get Nathan to come out and talk a little bit about being on the road with him.
Yeah, that would be great too. Really quick, I want to thank Ocala Dog Ranch because Lucy and Aslan are there. I missed them terribly this week, but I knew that I had got such a hectic week with a lot of traveling and coming and going, and did not want my dogs to not get their regular exercise. So the two of them are with Neil, and those are the cutest pictures ever. So adorable. And this is Aslan walking on the beach yesterday, and that's a shout out to Dr. Esther Brummond, because you see those powerhouse legs right there. That is a dog that was three-legged lame just a few months ago, and was bound to have surgery, and we talked to the doctor, and the doctor said Dr. Esther should carry on, and so she carried on working on Aslan, and that is him doing a little power walk on the beach. So that's a shout out to her, chiropractor for humans, dogs, horses, cats, you name it, and she has done a great job with Aslan. So I just wanted to say thank you to her and to Neil for those things, and for all the help that both of them give me all the time. So although I miss my dogs, I know they're in the best possible hands.
Very good.
And they got very excited when we pulled in the car. Kylie didn't get so excited when I picked her up today in her black pants.
You got a little white on.
A little white. There was a little bit of white hair in the car. So don't forget, speaking of dogs, that Vocal is having their fur ball. So it is Paws and Pearls, the 8th annual Vocal fur ball presented by Lugano Diamonds. We have a friend from Lugano Diamonds, don't we?
Yes,
we must stop in and see him. So there is a cocktail hour, a dinner, a silent and live auction, and that is Friday, February the 23rd at 6 p.m. at World Equestrian Centre Exposition Centre 1. So make sure you get your tickets to support Voices of Change Animal League. And Lucy, the cute black and white dog, she came from Vocal. She's a pretty good dog.
Very good.
We got to wrap it up. We're coming up with Dr. Adam Cayot talking about teeth. You learn about dentals in horses. Stay with us. This portion of the Horse Talk Show is brought to you by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Our television broadcast sponsor, Larsen Hay, Idaho's finest alfalfa, and supporting sponsors DAC Minerals and Vitamins, Seminole Feed Stores, Lip Chip, Piranha, Pat Myers Electric, Florida HVAC Services, and Ocala Dog Ranch. This show is brought to you in part by DAC Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. All horses need a solid immune system, excellent joint support, a healthy gut, and DAC has all the vitamins and minerals they need with the NASC stamp of approval. So like them on Facebook now or go to feeddac.com. DAC, it makes a world of difference. Horsemen, are you tired of technology that doesn't fit your way of life? Lip Chip, built by horsemen for horsemen, is ready to revolutionize your world. The answer is in the HoofLink system. Simply implant, scan, and unlock your horse's health information. From driving to Grand Prix jumping, all horses, all breeds, and all disciplines. The future is in the integrity and transparency of all horse sports and in the safety of our horses. The future is here, and the future is Lip Chip. Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. We're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
I'm Louisa Barton for the Horse Talk Show here at Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care with Dr. Adam Cayot, and we're going to talk about dentals. Horses have teeth they need taken care of. We still haven't come up with the plan for the false teeth, have we?
No plan for the false teeth. So horses have what we call hypsodontic teeth, and that means they continually erupt throughout their life. Certainly foals have deciduous teeth that they'll lose, starting at 2 up through about 6. They'll lose their baby teeth, and then their adult teeth will come in. And as the horse ages, those teeth continue to erupt. And as they're erupting, they wear on each other. The lower jaw of the horse is more narrow than the upper jaw, so you get some uneven wear as they're chewing. And thus they develop the most common thing that we address when a horse's teeth are floated are enamel points. So typically they will wear enamel points on the outer edge of the upper molars and then on the inner edge of the lower molars. And certainly, depending on the rate of wear and that sort of thing, that can affect the horse's ability to chew and effectively grind their feed stuff. Can cause differing wear patterns on the teeth. That floating will help kind of even out that wear pattern and thus have a longer tooth life. The other thing that you're concerned about when floating a horse's teeth is in a performance horse or a horse that's showing, they have to have a certain headset and they have to be able to move their jaw. Their jaw has to be able to move properly and depending on the headset to make it most comfortable for them. So certainly floating their teeth can help that and to make sure that's able to happen. Most horses, a general rule of thumb that I say is horses need to start having their teeth floated about the time they're getting a bit put in their mouth, unless there's some issue beforehand. And then after that, it's basically once a year is a good rule of thumb on how often horses need to have their teeth floated. Some horses need it every 6 months, but the greater majority only need it about once a year. As they get older, their tooth eruption becomes slower, so you have less change. So even horses get in their late teens, into their 20s, you might be able to get away with every couple of years, every 2 to 3 years even. And certainly draft horses tend to have a slower eruption time, so they can go sometimes longer between floats. So when you're going in, you're looking for all kinds of abnormalities that would prevent this horse from having normal wear or an even wear on their teeth. The enamel points, sometimes you have one tooth that's wearing faster than the other, so you address the opposing tooth to so that the tooth that's being worn too quickly is not in wear, as we say, so it has time to erupt further till it becomes in wear. It's really important to have that done because horses are living longer and a lot of them are outliving the life of their teeth. So if you...
That's where the false teeth come in.
Yeah, the false
we
teeth.
need to create.
Yes, exactly. And there aren't any dentures in horses yet. So...
Just wait. I'm just waiting for my phone to ring. Somebody told me to call Louisa Martin about this invention.
So until that comes, we try to keep that wear as even as we can so that their teeth will last them the length of their life. And because horses don't gum food so well. So.
And they can get sore too in the cheeks with the sharp points.
Yeah, exactly. You can have all kinds of sores that develop in their mouth. Certainly they can just get rub sores from the enamel points on their cheeks. You put a bit in their mouth. Obviously, if there's issues there and they pull on the bit, you can get pinching, you can get sores rubbed just because of that, and certainly even it's good to look in their mouth, look at their tongue, look at the bars of their mouth, just to make sure they don't have any other abnormalities that might be an issue. Obviously, extranumerary teeth or teeth that aren't supposed to be there. Wolf teeth, all those sorts of things.
Infected tooth,
all those sorts of things that can be addressed.
And then may need to be extracted if.
Yeah, obviously if it's an issue, certainly we have to pull teeth out every once in a while. I generally don't go in there and try to just pull them out. Actually, looked at one last week that had looked like a tooth root abscess, but we're going to try to treat it with antibiotics here initially. And if that works, great. If it doesn't work, then we may have to remove the tooth. But I try to go with a conservative route first and see how it goes, and then go from there.
And then sedation, normally you have to sedate for this, I'm sure.
So yeah, I typically sedate when I float. It just makes it easier on the horse, easier on me. I can do a more thorough job if the horse is sedate and I'm not fighting the horse, trying to get in there and do what I need to do. So typically I do sedate them. It's a light sedation. They're sedated. They're able to stand there.
They're just feeling good.
Yeah, they're just feeling good. And typically lasts a half hour, 45 minutes, and then you're back to.
And then the contraption that they wear that looks like a torture device that isn't actually.
So the speculum.
Yes.
The speculum helps.
Thankfully, someone invented that, right?
I haven't been able. Not a horse is. When I said open up and say not one has done what I've asked yet. So you have to get this device, and it's it rests on their incisors and.
It is painless though.
It's painless.
People say to me, "Oh, that looks torture."
Yeah, it looks awful, but there's no
not,
pain
right?
at all involved. So you just put it on their incisors, and it's got some little clinks, and you just open it up to a comfortable spot, and then it gives you full visualization of their oral cavity, and you're able to get in there.
I
and do what
really
you
wish
need.
they would make those for people. I think it would make it so much easier at the dentist. Sometimes you're
right.
like, jaws getting tired,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Hey,
So,
listen, now there's an
there
invention.
you go. I don't know who might go for that.
Me
but
and my
might-
ideas, you know. We gotta wonder. But about usually once a year.
Once a year. Yeah,
is
that's
pretty
typical.
good.
That's typical rule of thumb on how often they need to have their teeth floated. Like I said, some of them wander outside there, and maybe you have to address something every 6 months. But good rule of thumb, once a year, at least have them checked by your veterinarian.
Very good.
Yep.
Dr. Adam Cayot here at Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. I'm Louisa Barton for the Horse Talk Show. Dr. Adam Cayot from Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care, giving us a rundown on your horse's teeth. And as I'm sure you know, it's recommended to be annual for most horses. But if you have a horse that has problems, maybe more often, perhaps every 6 months. And just to give you an example, I have a very tiny miniature horse whose teeth had not been done for a really long time when he came into my care. So actually the equine dental technician who did his teeth actually had to do it in several visits, so just doing a little bit at a time. So if you have a horse that perhaps hasn't been done for a long time, he's been turned out, or maybe it's a retired horse and you kind of lost track of when the last time the teeth were done, it may be something that has to be broken down into several visits, just to keep the horse comfortable, and because it's a long time for them to have to stand there with their mouth open, even though there's I don't know the name of it.
Speculum.
Thank you. It's still a long time, and especially if they're uncomfortable, painful, they have an infected tooth or anything a little bit off the norm, then it may be something that has to be done over several visits over a few months. So, but sticking to that, at least an annual checkup is really important, so your horse's teeth can get looked at. You're talking about things like, they need to be able to eat, they need to be able to wear a bit if they do wear a bit to be ridden. So those are things just to bear in mind, just to keep your horse comfortable. There can be a lot of sharp points digging in cheeks and things, so be aware. It's a very important part of care.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, very good. We will be back after this, and we are going to have a very special guest in the studio with us, Dr. Judy Downer, so stay with us. This portion of the Horse Talk Show is brought to you by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care, our television broadcast sponsor, Larsen Hay, Idaho's finest alfalfa, and supporting sponsors, DAC Minerals and Vitamins, Seminole Feed Stores, Lip Chip, Piranha, Pat Myers Electric, Florida HVAC Services, and Ocala Dog Ranch.
Faulty wiring is the leading cause of barn fires. I'm Pat with Pat Myers Electric. Equine facilities have special electrical needs. The knowledgeable and licensed team of electricians at Pat Myers Electric will ensure that you can achieve your vision for a beautiful, safe, and functional horse facility. From new construction to rewiring and updating, the Pat Myers Electric team is ready to jump in and help keep your horses safe. With a small farm of our own, we truly understand the unique concerns of the horse owner. Don't take chances. For all your current barn needs, go to patmyerselectric.com.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores, family owned since 1934. Manufacturing fixed formula horse feeds with mindful monitoring and quality ingredients right here in Ocala in an all-natural, non-medicated feed mill. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed. Like them on Facebook now or find them at seminolefeed.com.
Horses. Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care seeks to be a leading international veterinary practice that provides state-of-the-art veterinary care to their patients while fostering professional relationships with their clients that stand the test of time. For 24/7 and the best in equine care, check out Peterson & Smith at petersonsmith.com or like them on Facebook now for more information. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. We're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Equine Hospital in complete care. Thank you very much to Larsen Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Louisa Barton here in the studio with my co-host dancing, Pete Roeder from Complimentary Horsemanship. And I'm delighted to have Dr. Judy Downer back with us. It's been a while, Judy.
It has been a while, Louisa. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you for joining us. I think the last time you were on the show, we were talking about a CF equine program.
Probably, but that was a few years ago because I'm
was.
now retired from the college, but I'm very proud of the years I put in there. I thought I'd only be there a few years, and I stayed for 17.
I was going to ask you how many was it. I was going to say it's probably about 20, isn't it?
And well, this coming year, or now that we're in 24, is the 20th year of the program, and they're going to have a alumni function. So if there's any alumni out there watching the program, make sure you check in and try and come to the alumni event in April at the Vintage Farm campus.
What a wonderful thing to celebrate.
But Marie Davidson is doing a fabulous job continuing the program, so I'm very happy for her and the whole staff. She's brought in a group of new faculty members, and they're doing great.
I think Vintage Farm is amazing, and I just love that program, and I love the kids having an opportunity to do that and get that education. It's wonderful for the horse capital of the world.
It is. And so before we talk about what I came here for,
yes.
I wanted to thank you for all of the work that you do on behalf of the equine industry here in Ocala. Your contribution here has just been exemplary. And so everything you do, yes, cheers, happy, applause.
Don't make me tear up now.
It's okay. No, this show and everything else that you do has just been amazing. So congratulations and thank you for all that you do.
Thank you. It's been my passion since before I could walk. So it's definitely a lifelong passion, and seeing the faces of the young people, and not just the students, but our CEP partners that get to come to venues and farms and meet equestrians. And December we were at Sean Wardley's for the meeting, and people are just in love with the equine industry, and they haven't necessarily had time to have or a chance to have the opportunity to have that contact. And seeing young people who never speak, who don't want to speak, seeing teachers cry because their students are interacting with a horse and they're excited is such a reward. But I've got an awesome village too, so I'm blessed with awesome
Don't
people.
Look at me.
So that makes a difference too, and I work with the best organization that is so for it. So I'm very fortunate, but thank you. So let's talk about what's happening in February and why it's so important here in the horse capital to have this kind of seminar.
Yes, so there's a very special event happening on February 5th, Monday night. Kentucky Equine Research is organizing a veterinary and nutrition conference. It's a 2-day conference held at Golden Ocala. But on Monday night is a horseman's seminar. It starts at 6 o'clock. And they have 3 excellent speakers talking about sport horse nutrition and management. And so this will be cutting edge information, research. These researchers are Dr. Hillary Clayton is one of them. Dr. Katie Young is the second one. And Dr. I have to look at my note. Emmanuel Van Erck is also coming in. And the 3 of them are going to represent their research and their information about how to manage the sport horses, both from a physical standpoint as well as from a nutritional standpoint. So things like anhydrosis and utilizing different fatty acid sources. Our understanding of equine nutrition has really, really changed over the last 20 years or so. And Kentucky Equine Research is a significant contributor to our knowledge. So it's quite an opportunity. I think everybody who's listening to the show that's here in Ocala locally should come out on that Monday night, February 5th. You can register at the website for Kentucky Equine Research, which is KER.com. and it's a $50 fee to register, but you'll get very good value back for your registration fee. So I'm here to talk about the program. I've been honored to be affiliated with KER. When I retired from the college, Dr. Pagan asked me to step in and help out with his internship program. And so I got to learn a lot about KER and the good work that they do. And KER has a research facility right here in Ocala, both a thoroughbred track and a high-speed treadmill.
And pass it often.
Yes. And so it's been nice to be affiliated with such a reputable research firm. Here are has a horse working on the high-speed treadmill at the facility.
Wow.
And so horses are able to gallop. That can also put an incline on. That horse is wearing a heart rate monitor. We did a study where we pulled blood samples from horses while they were galloping on the track for some of the research that they looked at, these fatty acids and how they're utilized in a horse while they're exercising at high intensity like this.
Wow, how interesting.
Yeah, it's very noisy.
Yes, I'm sure that's very noisy.
Luckily, the audio is off here. But these horses work hard and they get used to running on the treadmill, and they're exercised on the treadmill or they're exercised at the racetrack facility itself.
Wonderful. A lot of people probably don't think about this, especially if they're not necessarily in the horse world. But when we take an animal that in nature roamed the plains, the mountains, the fields, and we put them in a box, and then we ask them to then work and then go back in a box, it is not what naturally comes to a horse, like roaming a pasture, and for those people whose horses are turned out all the time, it's different. But Dr. Cayot has often talked to me about all of the effects on a horse's health of that lifestyle. And a lot of these sport horses, whether they be racing, jumping, dressage, are protected in a box. You know, we want to keep them safe and we don't want them getting scratched on a fence or getting in a fight with another horse. But there are some effects certainly on them. So I think this is really important that people learn how much good nutrition and good health play into keeping that horse safe and fit and healthy in its environment that doesn't come naturally to it. So I think this is great that people have a chance to actually learn about the scientific research behind what KER recommends.
And I can say that coming from my college background, learning the nutrition part is so important, and so many horse people are not educated in the nutrition part. That hay is the most important, and
Absolutely.
then so that's my biggest thing is the more you can educate yourself, the cheaper it can become for pay for your horses also.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
well-
that's actually a prime example of, it's fantastic to go to Larsen Hay and be appreciated and save some money, but even when it's not on sale, buy hay from a reputable, good source, because forage is the most important. Roughage for horses is it. It's more important than the grain or anything else. So get your hay from a reputable company and, make sure it's coming from a good place, because it is important. But this is going to be great information for folks, and $50 is very reasonable for that information. Yeah, so that's phenomenal. Judy, you said to go to the website to get the tickets, right?
Yes, the website, KER.com, and if you click on the news tab, it'll take you right down to the registration for the Horseman's Seminar. The larger seminar is for veterinarians and nutritionists and feed manufacturers. So that one will be a lot of information over 2 days, but the Horseman's Seminar on Monday night, February 5th, will be the one to go to.
That's absolutely phenomenal. I think, every veterinarian would say to you, we need to know more about nutrition. So I think this is fantastic. Absolutely wonderful. Judy, that noise means that we're at the end of this segment. I can't believe it, because I wanted to ask you about your most wonderful latest accolade. So I guess you'll either have to stick around with us or come back.
Well, I guess I can come back.
Dr. Judy Downer, she's got an incredible resume and she just keeps adding to it. Go to KER.com and make sure you get signed up. You'll learn a lot of information that is definitely worthwhile your time and investment. So we'll be right back. Stay with us on the Horse Talk Show.
Welcome back to the Horse Talk Show. Have you ever heard of a horse that can talk? Listen to this. with your host, Louisa Barton. She's literally in love with every horse. Presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. She's back in the saddle again. And now here's your host,
Pretty.
Louisa Barton. She's a Brit, she's got the gift of the gab, and her guests are fab.
Larsen Farms is our TV broadcast sponsor. Mr. Richard Larsen, a man of great integrity, cares about every single bale of hay and about taking care of his customers. He also has a huge heart for those genuinely in need. Larsen Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Hey there, horsemen. Are you tired of technology that doesn't fit your way of life? LipChip is ready to revolutionize your barn. Built by horsemen, for horsemen. LipChip knows how you ride. If you're tired of carrying around paperwork, dealing with long trailer lines, and juggling all your horse's details while trying to compete, then the answer is the HoofLink system. Simply implant, scan, and unlock. Each scan reveals everything you need to work, compete, and to protect your horses. View current health paperwork, pre-register for your next event, and even check in on your horse's health. Horsemen, let's keep our horses safe and make our lives at the barn a little easier. The future is here, and the future is LipChip. This show is brought to you in part by DAC Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. All horses need a solid immune system, excellent joint support, a healthy gut, and DAC has all the vitamins and minerals they need with the NASC stamp of approval. So like them on Facebook now or go to feeddac.com. DAC, it makes a world of difference.
This hour of the Horse Talk Show is presented by Palm Chevrolet in Ocala, where the entire team is committed to making your experience in sales and service hassle-free and easier than ever with no games or gimmicks. Come in and visit on Southwest College Road or online at palmchevrolet.com. A second-to-none experience with all the amenities. Palm Chevy, find new roads.
The Equine Performance and Innovative Center, situated on 30 pristine acres in the horse capital of the world, is one of the finest and most complete conditioning and rehab centers for equines and canines in the nation, including an equine hyperbaric chamber, aqua pacer, water treadmill, cold water leg spa, equine swimming pool, Eurosizer, and more. Epic equine veterinarians specializing in rehab and conditioning. For more information, go to epcrehab.com or find them on social media. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larsen Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Louisa Barton here in the studio with Dancing Pete Roder, and we have a little surprise for you. We kept Dr. Downer for a couple more minutes because I forgot to give her her items. And
the horse talk show
This is a
brush.
dandy brush, by the way. And this was actually lasered at Loco Graphics if you would like to get any of these made. Very nice. I got the brush from TT Distributors. I love TT Distributors. They're amazing. And so that is for Judy. There's for you, Judy. And a bag of marvelous piranha goodies. Lots of goodies in there. Little travel size samples for you.
Horses will appreciate that.
They will. Before we switch it up to Larsen Appreciation Days to share our wonderful couple of days we spent there, please do tell us about your latest exciting news because I loved it when I saw it on Facebook.
Well, when I retired from CF 3 years ago, I had finally completed a 15-year journey to become a dressage judge. So our dressage judge program in this country starts with the lowest level, which is the judges who can judge schooling shows, and they're called L graduates, L for learner. And then from there, judges can move up through the three United States Equestrian Federation levels, a small R, large R, and an S for senior judge. So I finally earned my senior license in 2020, right before the horse show season shut down from COVID. But nonetheless, I knew that when I started judging as a senior judge, I'd be very, very busy. And so I retired and started off on my ventures of being a dressage judge, which I dearly love. And I'm grateful to my husband, who takes care of all of the farm while I'm away, traveling all over the country, earning lots and lots of miles on Delta. So last fall, I was honored to be named or selected as a faculty member from the United States Dressage Federation to join a small group of other senior judges to become faculty and train the next generation of dressage judges. So I'm just starting on that venture, and I'm very excited about it.
That's a round of applause from our studio audience. And
be nice to Judy, guys,
Thank you.
especially if you do dressage.
Thank you. It'll be
Well
fun.
done. It's well earned, well deserved, and you are in the right spot as always.
Thank you. I do love the judging, and it's really looking out for the horse and making sure that the rider is training the horse along the correct principles. And it's just fun to see that journey as horses move from the lower levels up into the Grand Prix levels.
I can see it's an absolute passion for you, so that's wonderful.
Thank you.
We are going to swap over to Larsen Hay Appreciation Days and share some great times that we had with the Larsen Hay team and the family this weekend. I think there's Betsy jumping off. Look at that. Look at her. She is on camera. She's glamorous even when she's on the job there, greeting customers. And Friday, even though it was wet and bleak and rainy, we still saw a lot of very brave customers. We also saw Santa Claus, because Santa Claus, shows up. Ocala Santa came for a visit, and it's nice that people saw it was happening, and even if they didn't necessarily need hay, they wanted to come by and say hi. Piranha came by to say hi. There's Ben.
Yay, Ben.
He wasn't picking up hay, but everybody wanted to come and see Betsy, he wanted everybody to see his new truck too, because that's his newly wrapped truck, and he wanted everybody to see that. And I said, "Where's mine?" But it was a phenomenal day. Even Friday, people were covering the hay with tarps and coming and picking it up anyway. But Saturday, those the whole team was scurrying this way and that, and just loading everybody down, and the savings they were phenomenal.
Yeah, I got a tour. Betsy gave me a tour of the warehouse. It was very educational. I'm like, this is really neat.
It's really fantastic. I think Isaac actually did get with the drone into the warehouse and was able to drone over and around all the hay and kind of show how that is all set up in there. It's quite a professional operation, and their loading is they just have it down. They will reorganize for you and make it work and help you get home safely. So, but that was fantastic. There were a lot of savings. Like I said, the whole team, the whole family came in from Idaho, which I think was my favorite part of the weekend. I got to meet a lot of the family that I haven't met before. And I loved seeing Braden and Landon again.
The twins.
They did such a fantastic job. They were so excited about the potential of Isaac coming back again in the summer to do some more filming and droning and getting some more interview segments. And they are such a lovely family. I don't know how many minutes we have left, but these kids, that's Sergio, that's his husband with the kids. These kids are amazing. And I'd really like you to hear some of their comments about Larsen Hay. I think Isaac has those for us. So, no, we don't have those. Oh no.
So what'd they say?
Oh, they were priceless. So, in the next week or so, we'll have those for you, I promise. And I just asked each one of the four grandkids what they thought of Larsen Hay. And
did they say Idaho's finest alfalfa?
One of them said, my horses love it. And I didn't realize they mostly rode. That makes sense, I guess. But Lake, the youngest, the little chap, he was we were told he was kind of shy, and that he didn't really like to talk a lot. And he did the longest interview answer of all. And he had so many things to tell me about Larsen Hay. And he just kept going. And I mean, I was grinning so hard, my face was hurting. But great kids, they were riding around as well, helping load. And just everybody was chipping in. There was great prize drawings with some Piranha products. There was some refreshments and big savings, huge savings. So big shout out to Larsen Hay, to the team there that managed to have those 2 locations, both with hay on sale, and managed to all work together to get everybody safely out of there. At one time, I think it was about 11:20, I looked out the gate, and the downtown location, the line was all the way out. I think they could have been open for 3 more hours and it would have just gone on and on. But it was a nice way to say thank you to Larsen Hay customers, and thank you for supporting a business that supports this community, whether it be events that we do to help educate. We've been talking a lot about equine education with Dr. Downer and how important that is for our youth to have a chance to be around horses. And a lot of our events that we do just that, and Larsen Hay always gets involved and helps us to share horses with people. And then tracking back to hurricane days, up and down I-75 with Betsy the adventurer, and
Thelma and Louise.
Yeah, delivering hay to folks that lost everything and that
And thank you to Larsen Hay for donating that hay to help out. That's above and beyond. We say Idaho's finest alfalfa, Ocala's finest people.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's very nice.
Yeah, it is. And we trekked up and down the interstate with Mr. Larsen just providing with the hay, and us just being able to get it there was just a miracle.
So we want to appreciate you guys. Thank you for being what you are with the hay for us and our horses.
Exactly. Yes. Thank you very much to Larsen Hay. Pete and I will be back in just a minute. Stay with us.
Thank you to the presenting sponsor of this portion of the Horse Talk Show, Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to our TV broadcast sponsor, Larsen Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Also, thank you to supporting sponsors, Nirvana Medical Spa, TT Distributors, Summit Joint Performance, Equigreen, Midnight Rose Equestrian, the Florida Horse Park, Horse Farms Forever, and the Equine Performance and Innovative Center.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores, family owned since 1934. Manufacturing fixed formula horse feeds with mindful monitoring and quality ingredients right here in Ocala in an all-natural, non-medicated feed mill. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed. Like them on Facebook now or find them at SeminoleFeed.com.
Horses. Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
My name is Dr. Natalie Solomon. I formulated Equigreen with cutting-edge science and technology alongside the passion that is represented by a lifelong love of horses. I created a product that I would trust for my horses because they deserve nothing but the best for their bodies. Horses rely on us to take care of them, to love them, to respect them. This is how Equigreen came to life. Equigreen, CBD for your horse that you can trust.
Does your farm need a facelift? Has the harsh Florida climate left your barns, stable doors, and fences stained? J&S Pressure Washing has a professional team who can exceed your expectations and restore your farm to its former glory. Get rid of dust and cobwebs that can cause allergies and health issues for horses, and keep your horses safe by limiting fire hazards in the barn. J&S Pressure Washing can clean your house, your barns, your fences, and your driveway, and you can count on dependable and professional services. For more information, call Steven at 352-502-5355.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the Horse Talk Show presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larsen Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
We're taking you right to Tommy the Fence Turner. This is episode 2 with Tommy, and he's talking about what your horse fence should be like. Here he is.
I'm Louisa Barton with the Horse Talk Show and Equus Television, and I am sitting here with Tommy Turner from Equifence. Tommy has come in to fix a disaster that I have at my property due to a very poor choice on my part. I will tell you that because I've known Tommy for 6 or 7 years, he felt that he knew me well enough to laugh at me when he exited the truck. And actually, I guess I laughed with him. Not because it's funny, but...
It's all you can do.
I know, right?
Laugh or cry.
Laugh or cry, yes. And actually, you brought out the cheerful in me on the disaster. So thank you for that. Probably the first time I laughed and not cried about making a very, very poor choice. And a lot of people commented on my Facebook post about my fence with, you know, you get what you pay for, and trying to save money doesn't work. And actually, that wasn't the case. It was more a time element for me in trying to get my horses home. And, you know, I was boarding them, and they were a long way away and spread in multiple different directions with my 3 careers, and it was really a struggle. So I was just trying to get them home as soon as I could. And I had somebody, we won't bother to mention any names, but I had somebody who was available to me who said he was very experienced and had done multiple horse fences before. And so I believed him, and ended up, when I got back from my vacation, crying because of what I was looking at, which was a fence that I could have actually done better on my own.
I believe that.
Yes, I know you do. I know you do. You witnessed these things, and we're going to address those individual things in a different segment. But right now, I'd like to ask you some advice as people, and our program is listened to worldwide. So, what is a really good way of selecting a fence company, and other tips and advice that you can share and things that we should look out for? For example, on the first day, the gentleman asked if he could borrow my come-along. That was probably sign number 1.
Number 1. Wasn't there a hammer involved? Didn't you need a hammer?
I think so too.
Didn't you need a hammer?
Yes. Yes.
First thing is references. I am a strong believer in references. And then even when that contractor gives you the references, make sure you call them. Make sure you reach out to them. Don't just say, I've heard that name. If he did work for him, no, call that person. And then ask that person if they know of anybody else that they've done work for. Because contractors are infamous for doing this, right? They're going to give you their best. They're going to get, this is, I did the best job for this guy. This is who I'm going to use. Ask that customer if they know of any other clients or anybody else that they've done work for, because that right there is going to lead you down a road that you might actually find some truth. How long have you been in business? How far are you scheduled out? That for me is reasonably important, because a good, reputable company is going to have a lot of business. Obviously, they do good work. They're going to have business. There are times that scheduling can happen, and they can have an opening, and you might run into a good contractor that has an available opening right away.
Something may have happened. Someone may have had to cancel for some reason, or maybe a job finished sooner and you have a little gap, so it can happen.
Absolutely. So don't rule out because they can get to you right away, but let that be an orange flag.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I don't want to call it a red flag.
Worth some more homework and research.
Absolutely.
Just to make sure.
Pay attention to it. Make sure that, their schedule, it is truly a scheduling thing. But research, anything. Facebook is great if you want to get inundated with
yes,
with not even the answer you're looking for.
This is true. You're right.
I love Facebook for that. I see it all the time, and I get tagged in so many that it's, people are asking for advice on a fence, and people just post fence companies.
I know. Well, I found
I
found it almost amusing, but not, because I have cried over this. But I found it somewhat amusing when I saw Pat had posted the pictures of my fence, and he had people had commented underneath, who would have ever paid for that? Who would have ever put a fence up like that? Who would? And I was like, well, that was me. But anyway, yeah, that's my fence. But that's important. So references, obviously,
yes.
Some history, like the questions I asked you in our first interview segment about your background, and somebody who's knowledgeable about horses is important to me. And not to mention any names again, but I spoke to 3 fence companies about redoing this project.
Absolutely.
And they were actually all very reputable and all very well known. But 2 of them did not have as much horse experience. That they do a lot more in-town fencing and that kind of residential properties, right? And so for me, it was more important, having been told after the completion of the initial disaster project at my place, being told totally different story than I was told in the beginning, that the person was not actually a horse-related person at all and actually didn't know a thing about horses or horse fencing, which was not what I was told in the beginning.
I can promise you they knew nothing about horse fencing.
They knew nothing, yes. So those are important questions, and I think for a horse fencing project, you really do need a person with horse knowledge and a horse background.
Absolutely.
I think that's a really important piece. Just because horses are different than cows. You can put cows in a barbed wire fence, they probably won't get into any trouble. A horse will end up hung up in it.
Most of the time, if you think on the agricultural side of it, if you have cows, you're on acreage. You're on a lot of acreage. It's wide open spaces.
Right.
Those cows aren't going to be confined to a small paddock on 3 strands of barbed wire. They have room to move. With the horse industry, show horses, they're usually in a smaller area. They're not turned out on 100 acres somewhere.
Right.
So you need those tighter confined spaces to be safe.
Yes.
And
not to be interesting and them to be curious about how they can find a way over it or through it.
And I would never say a guy that builds cow fencing is not capable of building horse fence. There is a different mindset. I truly believe that.
Right.
And a lot of cow guys that build fence have horses. So there's crossover. There is that, they got to have some knowledge of both. But definitely there is a difference. And if you own show horses, you should definitely hire somebody that is in that industry or spends a lot of time in that industry building fence for those types of people. If you own cows, I definitely recommend that you hire somebody that is in the cow industry.
Yes.
and is going to build you a great cow fence.
Yes.
So definitely, ask questions about what you're trying to accomplish. That is, be job specific. If you guys have a backyard pony and you just need some fence put, do you want to hire the top of the line show jumper farm developer fence contractor? Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. But you definitely need to think safety and find somebody that's going to be within your budget and experience knowledge that you feel comfortable with.
Yes, so quality and experienced and knowledgeable about horses matters, and checking those references, asking for photos, making a couple of phone calls. And if you have that handyman guy, I'm not telling you that all handymen are no-goes for fencing. Please don't hear that. I'm just going to tell you, thoroughly check out whoever you're using, because the expense associated with having to remove everything and start again, you aren't saving $1 even if you think you're saving $1. So, just be mindful of that. That's been a great lesson for me. It wasn't a money saving, it was a time saving, but regardless, it wasn't worth it because it cost me an extra probably 6 or 8 weeks waiting for a good fence company to be available, and the time obviously to redo the job. So don't think you're saving money. You aren't.
Handymen are great. They're great. If you want a plumber to wire your house, they are amazing. Be specific for the project that you're looking for. That's the biggest thing, is be specific for the project you're looking for. Some people call me a one-trick pony. I build fence.
That's it.
I don't do plumbing.
No.
Not an electrician. I don't like being
I'm not
shocked.
getting you to do any of that. Tommy Turner with Equifence. We got to wrap it up, but we've got more coming. Stay with us. Louisa Barton with the Horse Talk Show. Thank you to the presenting sponsor of this portion of the Horse Talk Show, Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to our TV broadcast sponsor, Larsen Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Also, thank you to supporting sponsors, Nirvana Medical Spa, TT Distributors, Summit Joint Performance, Equigreen, Midnight Rose Equestrian, the Florida Horse Park, Horse Farms Forever, and the Equine Performance and Innovative Center. The Equine Performance and Innovative Center, situated on 30 pristine acres in the horse capital of the world, is one of the finest and most complete conditioning and rehab centers for equines and canines in the nation, including an equine hyperbaric chamber, aqua pacer, water treadmill, cold water leg spa, equine swimming pool, Eurosizer, and more. Epic equine veterinarians specializing in rehab and conditioning. For more information, go to epcrehab.com or find them on social media.
This show was brought to you in part by TT Distributors, dedicated to bringing their customers the largest selection of quality horse supplements, products, and farrier supplies in Florida at affordable prices. Also online at ttdistributors.com.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the final segment of the Horse Talk Show for this week, brought to you by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larsen Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Louisa Barton here in the studio in downtown Ocala, the horse capital of the world, with dancing Pete Roeder from Complimentary Horsemanship. And we are going to start out with blushing and gushing dancing Pete's.
Dancing Pete's tip of the week, brought to you by Complimentary Horsemanship.
Blushing and gushing.
So today's tip of the week is actually going to come from Buck Brannaman.
Imagine
in honor.
that. Makes Pete blush and gush.
Okay. His quote is, "Feel for the horse. I can't stress how important this is." So I always say, I think it was Ray Hunt or Tom Dorrance used to say, feel for, feel of, feel together. So just like when you do a handshake, feel of, feel for, feel together. That's how it should be.
Good
when
handshake.
you pick up your rope for your bit, your halter, whatever you're doing, even when you're on the ground. Feel for, feel of, feel for, feel together. So thanks, Buck and Ray.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, one of the things that I read about Buck and had a little bit of a chance to talk to him about when we had the opportunity to interview him the other day was the dance and the union of, and we talked a little bit about this a few minutes
Say
ago.
that again, the union?
Yeah, the union of the horse and the rider.
You don't say that correctly.
I don't?
No,
How do you
ma'am.
say it?
Union.
Union. Like an onion.
That's right.
No, it's union.
Okay.
Can you say it like me?
No, ma'am.
Imitation's the highest form of flattery. Come on.
Union.
There you go, union. So I found it.
We got Betsy laughing.
Betsy's in the studio audience and she's laughing because I don't have an accent.
Yes. Aluminium.
Aluminium.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's aluminium.
Okay, I believe you.
It's got an extra I in it.
So let's go back to the dance.
The dance. No, it's not the dance. It's the dance.
The dance.
Sounds much nicer like that.
Okay.
So Buck talks about the union of the horse and rider and the way that it is like a dance. And you would not want it if I was stepping on your toes in the dance. So you want a dance to be a good union. And I can see how sitting in the room talking to him, how if I was a horse, I would calm down and
and feel at ease right away just from the way Buck is. He just has no names mentioned, but there are other horsemen I've been around who, when they walk in the room, there is a different energy than that. But when Buck comes in the room, he's just very humble. He's very calm. He's very quiet. He's very slow about everything that he answers. And even watching during that clinic, there wasn't a whole lot happening for some periods. And it felt like, when's something going to happen? But I realized that he was just really trying to get the horses and the riders in their dance, the way that they should be, and the way they should be working together.
There was more going on at the stop than there was at the movement.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning the rest between the notes in the dance is just as important as the notes that are being played.
Yeah.
And the stop when you're dancing is just as important as when you started or you were moving.
Yeah. So that was neat, and it was neat to have a chance to talk to him. And last night I watched the Horse Whisperer.
Oh.
And so Buck helped Robert Redford with that movie, and I had forgotten because I haven't watched it for I don't even know how many years since I watched it. I think it came out in like 98 or 99, and I think I watched it very early on in that time period, so really long time.
I cried like a baby.
I didn't remember the beginning. And the beginning it's a lot, especially for a horse person. It was yeah.
It's traumatic.
It's very traumatic. I was just I was probably 5 minutes after that before I could even kind of like open my eyes and watch the movie because I was so
Do you know that Buck's horse was used at the scene where she comes to meet him after he's had the trauma, and he walks up to her and puts his head into her chest? That was Buck's horse because they couldn't get the trained horse to do it, so Buck roped his front leg and taught him to lead by the leg and got him up there and then had that connection, and Buck said, his horse is going to have way better connection with the girl than what the trained horse was supposed to be.
It was amazing.
And he was also supposed to rope left-handed for Robert Redford, and Robert Redford said, well, let me try one time to see if I can do it, and he got it. So
really?
Yeah, Buck was supposed to do that.
That was neat to watch that after having met him. Marla Faust, who is a really good friend of mine that lives in Maryland, is a huge Buck Brannaman fan, and she said, please ask him to come to Maryland. But she absolutely loves him, and she couldn't tell me enough about him. And then after I met Nathan and we organized the horse park and everything and got that all straightened out, it was really neat to be able to go and just be around him. And then now I want to watch Buck, the documentary, as well.
Yeah, but the Horse Whisperer, the book, you do know the end is different. No. The end in the book is he steps into a stallion and it kills him because he can't have the woman.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I hated the ending of the book until I saw the movie. The movie was worse in my book. I was like, at least leave the horse there and drive off, meaning she could come back. But yes, it was supposed to be Wild Stallion pins the little girl and the mother, and he steps in, gets him away, and then he steps into the stallion and gets killed.
Okay, now nobody's going to read the book.
Oh, sorry. Spoiler alert. Don't listen to this.
We're going to switch it up to Ocala Dog Ranch, and here's Neil Hennessy and his tip of the week.
The Horse Talk Show goes to the dogs at Ocala Dog Ranch.
Neil Hennessy, the owner of Ocala Dog Ranch. Grooming your dog. One of the most important things about grooming our dogs that sometimes get neglected is brushing their teeth. You can brush their teeth with special toothpaste now that's on sale at most pet stores, or you could even buy some of the treats that are designed to clean their teeth. Failing that, you can always get a rope toy, put toothpaste on it, which is used for dogs, and give it to the dog. The dog will be chewing the rope toy, getting the toothpaste into his teeth, cleaning his teeth, and hopefully getting better health for your dog with oral hygiene.
Grooming. Apparently my co-host and friend Dancing Pete thinks that I need grooming.
Wait, these are nice brushes. I thought we'd use it for some grooming.
Apparently,
like Neil says.
Apparently, my animals must need a lot of grooming because Kylie had to ride in my car with a lot of hair today. So
yes, ma'am.
Did I mention that this was lasered at Loco Graphics? You can get this brush at TT Distributors, and you can get your logo lasered on here. I think. Distributors, yeah. What are you laughing at me so much?
That just sounds
today?
funny.
Does it?
Yes.
What am I going to do with him?
TT Distributors.
TT
That
Distributors.
sounds a lot better.
Okay, got it.
I'll help you out on this.
Okay, so anyway, here's your and we're going to have a little competition. We're going to do. Betsy's going to give us a $25 gift certificate for Larsen Hay.
She looks over at her.
And a brush if you can guess Flynn, my Mustang's height and weight. There's a good one, right? Was that the Winnie?
That's the Winnie.
I can't believe it. Don't forget the fur ball, vocal fur ball. Don't forget. Very important. Voice of Change, Animal League, February 23rd. Get your tickets. Whether you're in Ocala, Marion County, the horse capital of the world or not, happy horsing around till the same time next week.
See you soon.